Exciting.
Okay, we're starting with this topic. So the NCAA women's basketball champions, they wrapped up yesterday with South Carolina defeating superstar Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. The tournament proved to be a win for women's basketball as a whole, with sellout crowds and record-breaking ratings. So there is a lot of buzz around this. So why do we think this particular tournament at this moment in time is garnering so much attention?
Because it's about time. Right? It's about time. Right? Think about this for a sec. This kind of stuff has been going on, but because people are paying attention and because people of profile are actually saying, this is what you should watch. We live in a society that wants to keep up with the Joneses. So when somebody says, this is good stuff, you want to know more about it. Yeah. So all of a sudden, when something like this is just taking over and that people are like, you need to watch this because it's special. I know that, you know, my wife being a professional, at one time a professional ballerina, now she's a principal and you know, shapes careers that become professional ballerinas. Sports is so important from a female perspective, and it's always been going on. It's about time we started highlighting what was right.
And yet the young teens, girl teens, they drop out of sports at twice the rate as young boys do. And I couldn't agree more, because I played sports in high school. And the idea that young girls could be watching this team and see a little more about themselves in these players and stick with sports, not even necessarily with the hopes of going pro, although that's now an option. Yeah. But just for what? Like, clearly I didn't go pro. But I tell you, what it did for me mentally, physically, and just working with the team and the incredible coaches, like I still carry it with me 30 years later. It's powerful
and I've heard a lot of people say that, but let's give the flowers to the women who deserve it. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were the superstars. To point out, not only are they great players, they were also superstars on and off the court. And I think that's what every sport needs, regardless if it's men or women. That's the difference. That's what fills the stands. And these women stood up to the challenge, and they met the challenge, and it made it so exciting for everybody. But I want to give everybody a little history lesson. This is not the first time this has happened in women's college basketball. Back in the 80s, there was a time where the arenas were filled, people were screaming, and there were superstars like Cheryl Miller, who was the sister of Basketball Hall of Famer Reggie Miller. Do you guys know who that is? Yeah. Right? There was a Cheryl Swoops. You guys ever heard of that name? Cheryl Swoops was also a big deal. And Kim Mulkey, who you guys might recognize now. She's the lady who's the head coach of the LSU women's college team, sparkly jackets and outfits. She was a powerhouse in her time. And there's this fantastic documentary called The Women of Troy that documents this time of these women in the 80s who dominated the sports. People were going nuts, but here's the problem. There was no WNBA at the time. There was no Nike sponsorships. There was nothing. And the big major, it was televised, but the major networks weren't touching it because these women had nowhere to go. So timing is everything. But congratulations to all these women, especially Dawn Stanley, who showed, you know what, one player does not win a game, but a great coach who creates a great culture definitely can win a tournament. So she totally deserves all the flowers. So exciting to watch.
I love all of that. Quickly, I also want to say thank you to all the sports media that is finally giving the women coverage. Because that saying, if you build it, they will come. You know that it was 2020, what year are we? 2024? The women's NCAA tournament was only allowed to start using the branding of March Madness 2 years ago. What? Before that, there was a women's NCAA basketball tournament. They weren't allowed to use March Madness marketing. So then the media realized, if you build it, they will come. There are stars. There's the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reeses. But I'm here to tell you, somebody asked earlier, is this just the beginning or is this just a blip? If you think there's just Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the women that are in the system coming up, it's like saying there's only one Michael Jordan. Well, after Jordan, you had how many other stars? I was like, what I mean by that is, don't misunderstand. Don't misunderstand. There is only one Michael Jordan, but my point is, it's like saying there's only ever room for one superstar in a sport. And I'm here to tell you there are so many young girls coming up in the game, and they are going to be the future. So this is not a blip. This is the beginning.
We can't wait to watch. All right.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.